Alright. Okay. So, I got her. I have her. Yunli's good. She follows the destruction path and has the element combat type of physical. She's literally just power creeping Clara, lol. I mean, she has good damage, she's quite cute, she's unique with her playstyle, but she isn't Fire Flusy or Akarusi, so you know, I don't care too much. But she is a unique playstyle, so I do like her. So let's get into her traces and talents, relics, light cones, eidolons, and teams. Well, her traces are actually not that simple to explain, but I will try, yes sir! Her basic attack is, well, basic. It's just somersault herself and hit someone with a sword and that deals some physical damage. That's crazy. Her skill is like also okay. It's not a heavy hitting skill, but her kit isn't about that, it's about countering. So what does the skill do? She throws her big ass sword at the enemy and deals blast damage, haha. It restores her HP, which is why you'll be using it since she's going to get hit a lot to restore her HP, duh. Now we get into the actual meat of what makes her her! Her talent is her follow-up attack, and acts as a counter like Clara's. When she gets attacked by an enemy, it regenerates 15 energy for her, and she launches a counter that is just her skill. Now her ultimate, her main way of dealing damage. Basically, it costs 120 energy, and like Argenti, you can have two ultimates stack up because she can easily overcap on energy, just like Argenti, if she didn't have such abilities to stack them up. This ultimate increases her crit damage by 100% at the max level, which means that you don't really have to worry about building crit damage on her when we get to her relics and stuff. Her ultimate basically has two forms, and they're called Intuit Slash and Intuit Cull. Intuit Cull is the one that matters since that's the one that deals a lot of damage, whilst Intuit Slash also deals a lot of damage but not as much. Wow, how esoteric. Intuit Slash is cringe and is just, you know, a one only attack where she deals like high but damage when no counter is activated because she, you know, that doesn't count as a counter, i.e. she didn't get attacked, so she just smashes down with her big ass sword. Intuit Cull is activated if you get hit by an enemy and activate her counter, letting her deal a lot of damage, where she deals an extra 6 instances of damage alongside the damage dealt by Intuit Slash. Basically it's Intuit Slash plus 6 more additional instances of damage. This counts as ultimate damage and also as a follow-up attack, meaning it's a good lot of damage, right? It's a lot of damage. Remember, her kit is quite good but complex, requiring you to worry about timing and all that. All your damage is this ultimate counter follow-up attack, and it's all in her Intuit Cull form of the ultimate follow-up attack counter thing. But she regenerates energy quite easily, which lets her always have her ultimate counter up basically, so, you know, she's not that mid, she's actually really good. Her technique lets her start her battle with the Intuit Cull attack, which also has its damage increased by 80% too, so it's a good technique to start a battle with. So basically her talent level up priority is her ultimate first, then talent, then her skill, and finally her basic attack. Alright, her best relics and light cones. I mean, I'm actually quite tired right now because again, university student, but I reckon they're quite simple to figure out. Her best relic is the 4-piece Valorous set. She has a lot of follow-up attacks, which are mostly her ultimate, which counts as both a follow-up attack and as an ultimate, meaning you can use this set very well. This lets her have a permanent damage boost, maximizing her damage. If you have Firefly and have also pulled Yunli and have been farming Firefly's Cavern of Corrosion, then you should also have some of these Valorous pieces saved and ready to throw onto Yunli. Otherwise, you can use the follow-up attack set, the Ash Blazing set, as that cavern is quite efficient to farm, having the DoD set as well. The stacks this set also provides, the 6% bonus for every time the follow-up attack deals damage, is easily maximized to the max amount of 8, since Yunli basically just only uses her ultimate Intuit Call attack to deal the bulk of her damage. So it's also good to use on her depending on your situation. For Planar ornaments, you should also run either Inert Salcedo or Duran sets. Inert Salcedo is consistent and provides her with crit rate and directly increases her follow-up attack and ultimate damage, so it's really good on her. Otherwise, you can run Duran on her, which I'm doing since I have a lot of Duran pieces. Duran is good because it gives you these stacks, which increases Yunli's follow-up attack damage, and also after reaching max stacks, it increases her crit damage by 25%. It's easy to maintain these stacks if you have her light cone like I do, so I do it. And because I don't really farm Salcedo since I prefer farming efficient caverns, and well, Salcedo also has the Bella Box set, which is unusable, that's why I don't really farm it, that's why I'm using Duran. But it depends on your situation, so yeah, light cones now. I mean, her light cones are pretty simple. It's basically user signature light cone, which is really good by the way, because then, you know, you can also use that on Clara too, and in the future on new counter characters if they get released. Her signature light cone is like a 80% damage increase over the free-to-play friendly Herda Shop light cone. It gives Yunli Yunli a lot of taunt, meaning it increases the chances of her being attacked by the enemy. It also gives her crit damage and increases her follow-up attack damage. That's why it's really good. Now obviously that's a limited banner light cone and not everyone can pull it, nor should everyone pull it. Obviously it's expensive pulling, right, even if you're free to play friendly, because that's time that you've invested into the game. In such a scenario, you can also use On the Fall of an Aeon S5, the Herder Shop 5-star light cone that's given for free. It's basically the best free to play choice for any destruction character, and we should really be given 80 more of these. It means you have to use links in her team though, in her team composition though, to increase Yunli's chance of being attacked by the enemy. This free to play light cone basically lets her deal a lot of damage due to the attack boosts and damage percentage increases. Now that we've gone over the important light cones, other options are Blade's light cone, but if you have the light cone, you have Blade, keep it on him. Maybe one day he'll deal 20k damage. You can also run Cooler Down Hung's light cone, but again, keep that on him. He's really good, Lamau. Other 4-star options are Under the Blue Sky S5 from the limited banner, but also it's limited, you know. You can also use a Secret Vow too, but honestly they're pretty underwhelming. It seems like Hoyo is trying to force you into getting her signature light cone, but most players are casual or free to play friendly and can't really. So the reality is that I'm going to recommend you to constantly swap your Fall of an Aeon between your destruction characters, because that's just how life is. Thus at the end your Yunli should have something between 3200 to 3400 plus attack. Her crit rate should be 90 to 100% because that's her most important stat. Her crit damage could be between 100% to 120%. This is acceptable because her ultimate increases her crit damage by 100%, and that's where most of her damage is. Her speed should be 94, it should be her base speed, because that just doesn't matter. So now we're getting into her teams now! When it comes to Yunli's teams, the team that I'm showing you right now is, I think, her best team, right? Because, well, it has Robin in it, which is good for anyone who deals follow-up attacks, and it has Tingyun in it, who will regenerate energy for Yunli, and Huo Huo, who will regenerate energy for Robin and Yunli and Tingyun, right? So this team, I think, is her best team, but it is definitely not free-to-play friendly. For a free-to-play friendly team, this is usually the team I'd end up running. I would run Tingyun, of course, but I would also run with it either March 7th and Lynx. So this is the team that I would run to be free-to-play friendly, of course, and that's because if you're free-to-play friendly, I don't expect you to have Yunli's light cone. As a result, this is the team that I would run. Lynx would increase the taunt value, the aggro, you know, on Yunli. Tingyun would still get attacked because she just would, and then she'd regenerate energy, and March 7th would deal follow-up attacks, generating charges alongside with Yunli as her Shifu. And this is a pretty good team. If you don't want to run March 7th, you can also run Pela for the Death Shred, and that's also a really good free-to-play friendly team. But I think you should always have Tingyun in the team because the energy that she gives is just too fucking good. Now, when we discuss some less free-to-play friendly teams, now these are the teams I would run as free-to-play friendly. Of course, not everyone can do it, and no one should have, like, you should have at least one of the 3 harmonies. You should either have either have a Robin on your account, a Ruan Mei on your account, or Sparkle on your account, or all 3, or 2 of them. I don't have Sparkle, so obviously I can't run it, but a team that you can run is Yunli, Tingyun, Sparkle, and Huo Huo, right? And like this slot would be Sparkle, right? Which would let you push Yunli up, you know, action advancer, which would let her attack with her skill, which would let her regenerate more energy, so when it comes to her dealing her Intuit Cull ultimate follow-up attack thing, then she can do it a lot more quickly. Another team that you can run with this is, of course, your March 7th plus Robin plus Huo Huo, and here your March 7th Shifu is going to, of course, be Yunli, and Huo Huo will regenerate energy for everyone with her ultimate and give an attack percentage buff to Yunli and March 7th, which is really good, of course. But personally, my favorite team to run with her is this team, but that's because I'm a sucker for Tingyun. I really like Tingyun with dance, though that can actually mess up your fucking action order and all that. I really like this team because there's a lot of energy flowing around here. You know, these are the teams that I would run. So if you're free to play friendly, I would run a team like this. And if you don't want to run Pela, then I would swap Pela out for March 7th. And if you have a you know, a bit more of a budget and you have any of the harmonies, then I would run Ruan Mei here, maybe, because you know Ruan Mei is always good to have. And if you don't have Ruan Mei, I would run Sparkle there, and if you don't have Sparkle, I'd run Robin there, right? And if you don't have any of them, Pela there, but also fuck you. And those are my recommendations, right? Now, I think, you know, this is only in the scenario you'd only use Lynx if Yunli doesn't have her light cone. So that's what I think you should do with her Tims. Bye bye. Haha, we're going to Eidolons next. But her Eidolons. So Yunli Eidolons. Now, I'll be honest with you, you don't actually need to pull for her Eidolons. E1 is really good, of course, because her E1 lets her Intuit Cull deal more damage, right? Intuit Cull gets a 20% damage increase, but the only thing that we really care about is the Intuit Cull damage increase, because at the same time it increases the number of additional damage Intuit Cull does by 3, which is really good. Basically, you're doing a 3 additional more attacks of 72% attack percent. You know that thing, right? You're dealing 9 instances of damage alongside with the Intuit slash damage, which makes it the Intuit Cull. That's what makes it so strong. So, like, you can go for E1 if you want to. I personally wouldn't, because I don't think she's that good to go, you know, that crazy into her. But if you're a pedophile, you can surely E6 her, or if you're Dr. Disrespect, right? Her E2 lets her ignore 20% of a target's defense when she deals damage via her encounter. That's really good, of course, because a 20% damage ignore is always good. That's like a solid damage percentage increase. I think this should have been an E1, and then the E1 that we have right now should be an E2 with more buffs to it. Yunli, E2 is good. You can pull for it if you want to. I wouldn't personally. I would go for her light cone over her Eidolons. Her light cone basically ensures that you get hit every single time, unless you have Ting Yun, because Ting Yun will always get hit no matter how much aggro your allies have, because I don't know, she's too fucking hot or something. Yunli's E3 and E5 are obviously skill, talent, basic, those kinds of stuff getting leveled up. Her E4 doesn't exist. It increases her effect res, like with Firefly's E4, and I don't really get why it's this bad. So we'll just skip over E4 and go to E6. Her E6 is actually, I mean, it's good, right? Which obviously is really good because, you know, a physical res pen being increased is really strong. It also, you know, lets her deal this and this and that and a lot, but you know, I'll never get to E6 to actually worry about it, so I don't really want to think too much about E6. It sounds really strong. It's just really strong. I personally, I mean, if you go to E6 at this point, you understand her kit better than fucking Einstein, right? I don't want to understand her kit that much. I like her playstyle and I think that she's really fun, but I don't really want to think too much about it. Honestly, when it comes to Eidolons, I'd go for E1 S1 Robin. That's going to be a bigger damage percentage increase for you Yunli than Yunli's Eidolons, and that's because E1 Robin is an all-type res pen by 24%, right? Which is like Ruan Mei's ultimate, which is a 25% all-type res pen, right? So that's Yunli's Eidolons. We're not really going to discuss any more of it. Alright, so that was my Yunli guide. I hope that was good. I mean, she's fun to play. I still wouldn't recommend necessarily pulling for her, but I think she's quite fun. I'm a day one player, so I have that bit of leeway where I can sort of make mediocre investments into my account. Anyways, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It would help out a lot. God, I'm so tired. I wanna go to sleep. True. Just go to sleep then. Yeah, but also you cannot sleep. True. So shut the fuck up.